my kids watch it. You know, my kids super critical, you know, because they watch a lot, you know, the dad, you know, the third act, you know, that, so they have that type of, but they just watched it and loved it. And so I think it's a beautiful Christmas gift that we can continue to unwrap for days to come.
You're still alive?
Can you help me get back?
No way!
There I am. What are we waiting for?
Wait, not me!
The relationship between Joe and 22 to me is so extremely special. I'm curious, did you get to voice with Tina at all, or was it all stuff?
Yeah, I actually got a chance to be in the same room with her, and I was just blown away, man. Just looking at Tina Fey, like, wow, that's Tina Fey. And you know, as a comic, you know, she's a technician. I mean, you know, she knows how to get the characters, and I know her history as being a writer and things like that. So just being able to have that, man, means everything, you know, for the experience of the movie, to be able to meet someone that you really respect and admire and are a fan of.
What do you want to be remembered for?
Probably for doing this funny cowboy dance.
Hey, I need to start with this rumor that's going around that you and Amy Poehler are trying to destroy me emotionally through your contributions to Pixar's library.
It is not a rumor, it's true.
It is?
Trying to. We're trying to, Sean.
There's a line that made me laugh where you talk about using her voice, and it says, I just use this voice because it annoys people. But yet it's your voice. Do you ever stop and say, wait a second?
Yeah, well, we talked about that. I think I was, remember, I don't want to misremember, but I think that was something that we all talked about together, of maybe finding a joke way to name the fact that, like, why does this unborn soul sound like a middle-aged white lady?
You can't crush a soul here. That's what life on Earth is for.
Everyone's least favorite kind of person.
Right.
Universally despised middle-aged white lady. And that was kind of the joke that came out of it.
The music that Joe plays is so pivotal to the character. I'm really curious, at what point in the process did you get to hear the music they were going to use for him, and was it important for you as you figured him out?
Well, you know what? They let me hear some of it here and there, which, you know, I mean, Baptiste is just, I mean, come on, man. You're in high grass right now. You're in high grass. So anything he touches is amazing. Just being able to sort of take that music, use it as inspiration, use it as a mindset, so that when we're saying those words, you know, they really mean something. You know, Joe is really passionate about this. You know, you start out on a goal or a dream, and then your dream turns into something else that is just as fulfilling. So it's amazing.
And I'm curious if you got to hear any of that music as you started to prepare to play her.
Not one note.
You're kidding me, really?
I kid you not. And that's so insightful that you would say that. Now I'm wondering, why not? Well, no. I only heard it when, when I was able to see the film, and I was surprised and blown away. It was lovely. It was beautiful to see Dorothea get into the groove, into her own zone.
In order for your story to start, you need to kill your main character. And I don't imagine that that's something that a lot of animated features get to say. So I'm just really curious what kind of conversations you had about how do we kill Joe and how much can we show?
We had a couple of thoughts of maybe he was so into rehearsing that he gets hit by a truck or something. It needed to be kind of comedic because you don't want to horrify people right off the bat.
We talked about a piano falling on him.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Well, we had the one boarded version, remember, where he banged his head on something dangling down and didn't know he was dead. So he hit his head and was still walking, then turned around and looked back and he was dead behind him. So he got like knocked out and kept walking down the street.
Is this heaven?
No.
Is it H-E double hockey sticks?
Hell.
Quiet coyote.
You know, the consensus is that the brand of Pixar is, you know, whatever they come to you and say, we'd like you to do this, you would immediately say yes. I'm curious what your relationship was. Have you been trying to do a collaboration with them over the years? Is it something you were actively pursuing?
I mean, in my mind, yeah. I was pursuing it with like Jedi mind tricks, but I was thrilled. You know, years ago I was asked to revoice the American version of Ponyo, which I was thrilled enough to have been a part of that, which is another incredibly visually beautiful film. And I'm just a general Disney park nerd, so other than me just kind of telling anyone I met at the parks that I would be open to working on any Disney project.
Right.
It wasn't something I was seeking out. However, it was something that I wanted.
and I've wanted to voice in an animated feature. Oh, I've wanted to do that for so long. And this is my first. I loved it. I'd go in the studio. Of course, you know, I'm in the studio and everybody's on the West Coast and I'm on the East Coast, but we're talking to each other and we're seeing each other through a screen. And the lines are there and, you know, you read the line and because they're so expert, Peter and you know, they're so good at what they do, they hear things, subtle things.
Okay.
Like subtle intonations that give another clue, that give another feeling, that give another indication of what's happening. And I didn't find it tedious at all. I really enjoyed it.
I'm curious, what aspect of the afterlife was the hardest visually for you guys to conjure or to settle on?
Well, I mean, one of our board artists, Trevor Jimenez, boarded a lot of these kind of surreal scenes where he's falling through these weird spaces, and they just seemed like that clicked pretty quickly. On the other hand, the great before, this area where we all get our personality, our sense of who we are, that took a couple of years really to be able to nail down.
This isn't the great beyond; it's the great before.
The great before?
Because we wanted it to feel non-specific culturally, because everybody in the world comes from this place. It should hopefully be visually obvious what's happening here. We're being bestowed, you know, different kinds of, you know, adventurousness, resourcefulness, whatever kind of personality attributes we have. So that was very hard.
I'm curious if you had a Dorothea yourself in your career, someone who you felt like you needed to impress or wanted to impress to almost prove your talents to yourself.
So, we're down to middle school band teachers now.
Oh, I always wanted to impress my a dear aunt in my life because she would say, "Don't waste that education on theater. Don't do that." You know. So every time I got a job, it's like, "I'm eating, Auntie. I'm eating. Look, you know." So she was much like, you know, Jamie's mother, the mother character in there, the Libba, but. She was supportive, but she wanted you to be practical. She wanted you to survive.
But certainly for members of our community, I heard that speech. You got to have something to fall back on. Right. Oh, no. Oh, that's not really a solid career. Well, that's very nice that you like to do that, but you know, you got to face people don't really. It's a toss up, you know. But that's not why artists engage in the work that we engage in. We engage in the work because the work is in us to do.
This morning I was able to pause on something because I figured there'd be an Easter egg buried in it, and it's all the "Hello, my name is" stickers.
Oh, yeah.
I saw Joe Ramp's name in that. That was a very beautiful tribute.
Joe was one of our great head of story collaborators, great actor, and we all learned a lot from him. I do feel like he's one of my mentors.
Sorry, I zoned out a little back there.
This movie visualized something that I've been able to experience a couple of times playing music, the idea of the zone.
Oh, yeah.
Have you experienced the zone before in acting or comedy? And how does it come about? What does it feel like for you?
The zone is amazing. Like, you know, acting, of course, Ray Charles, doing stand-up in Oakland, California, 1991. Comedy competition. I go up and it was a magical moment in Oakland, California. I will never forget Oakland for that. At the Paramount Theater, and it was just a moment, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's such a real thing. I think of it as a writer too, of being in the zone, and you're like, oh, I'm finding some stuff that I didn't expect to find, and then you kind of lose sense of time. As an actor, as an improviser in comedy, I would say there's a moment where you're like, oh, I'm improvising with this person, and we're kind of mind melding or whatever. I think it's a very real thing. I think so much of creativity is knowing that it's going to come and go, and then not panicking that you're not in the zone all the time, and that you can work with other people to help keep you afloat when you're not in the zone. But yeah, I think it's a really real thing that they've tapped into there.
Is that something you've experienced acting? Have you been able to find the zone acting?
Oh yes, and and that, I guess, is what kept drawing me back, drawing me into it, you know. Going into the zone, you just feel at one with it. You feel so peaceful and powerful and out of the way and in the center of it. It's the most glorious of feelings, and is rapturous.
It happens. Yes, it does. And it's magical when it happens.
Right.
And you can't describe it. You know, you can't quite put it into words, but it's a place of stillness.
That's weird.
What is it?
151,000 souls going to the great beyond every day, and I count every single one of them. The count's off.
Huh.